Welcome to Elliott's PT podcast. I'm here to help you find your balance and live your best life guilt-free. I don't believe there is a one-size-fits-all approach for health and fitness. We're all different and we need to find out what works for us. I'm passionate about helping people make realistic, long-term lifestyle changes that they will stick to and they will take with them forever. I don't believe in crazy diets or short-term fixes. We all need to live and find a perfect balance in diet and exercise that suits our individual needs. I want to help you find your exercise mojo, feel great and achieve wonderful things. Here is Elliott's PT podcast by Renae Elliott. Hello, and welcome back to Elliott's PT podcast. So today I want to talk about taking charge and that you can be the person to take charge of your life. All right. So wherever you are at, it's really important to understand. I feel it's really important to understand that you actually have a say, and you have a say in the things where you're at and the thing that's happening to your body, and you can change that. It's not just something to accept. Exercise is a massive part of my life. It is really important to me, and I feel it's really, really important to spread the messages of how important, how good exercise can make you feel, and how important it is in so many other ways than just the physical side. And I was speaking to somebody last week or so, like a friend, and they were talking, and they were saying that they had like neck pain, so they were going to see somebody about that, and all of that is good, but I really feel that you also need to take charge. So lots of stuff that we're doing, maybe just band-aiding it. So we have a sore foot, so we go get that checked out, but who thinks after, well, I've already, I already might have this damage in this foot. I need to make sure that I'm strengthening my ankles and the things supporting it. So this is what I'm feeling like I really want to get the message through, is that you need to take charge of your own health and take the steps forward, because you have a choice. You can live a life where you are, you're full of energy. You have, you have strength, you can get up and down off the ground, you have no pain. That is possible for everybody. Just accepting that I have back pain, I can't do anything about it, or I've been told I've got this disease, I can't do anything because I've got that. All of that, I believe that you have a say in how the outcome of how things are. And that's what my message that I would really like to get through today, is that you have a say. So lots of things I hear all the time, people saying things such as, I have no core. That is a big thing I hear from people. They say, I have no core. Well, actually, you do have a core. We all have a core. And, we all have abdominals. It just depends on how strong they are. Now, you have a choice whether you choose to work that core or not work that core. And you can choose to strengthen it or not, and again, that's something that you have control over. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be working out for hours on end. You just have to do something. And, especially after birth, it's something I'm really passionate about, is, making sure that mums, do rebuild their core strength after birth. It is something that is forgotten a lot about, because people just want to jump back into their next exercise, and they forget that, they don't put any emphasis on really strengthening that core area. And, after I had my kids, I did something at least once a day for my core. It might have been 15 minutes, it might have been 5 minutes, it might have been 20 minutes. I did something. Most days I did something at least twice a day. I did something in the morning and something in the evening. And I continued to do that every day until I rebuilt my strength up. Now, the thing is that, so I see people, and that stuff I can, especially I can explain it to people in that come to my classes, or people that I see, but I only see you for a couple of hours a week. So I only see you for a couple of hours a week, but you need to take charge of what you do the rest of those hours. So I'm not with you at the nighttime to remind you to do your workouts on the floor. I do have an app that does send you reminders, but I'm not physically there to remind you, but you can do it yourself and you can take control. And if it is important enough to you, you will do it. And that's what I really feel, that, people should take charge, because so many injuries, so many pains and aches and all that people have, I really feel they would be prevented if people have a better understanding of their body. We had a friend who just had to sell their business because he had that his back pain was that bad and he had to have back surgery, and it made me feel really, really sad, because that I just wish that maybe even as part of his job, that when he had his own business, but maybe part of his training would have been looking after your body, because he had a job that he had to crawl through roofs. And, he got to a point that he'd been crawling through roofs for however many years of his life, that his back was that bad that he can't do anything anymore. So, but I really feel that if he had learned to stretch and strengthen the areas supporting and around, that he wouldn't be in that pain that he's in now. And, he's had to have surgery, and his lifestyle is affected because of now he can't walk as well and all those other things. But I really believe that stuff could have been prevented if he had taken charge and had made some changes in his life. And I feel like you could do the same. And if you are having an ache or a pain, your body is your best teacher. So listen to it. If you have a job where you're sitting at a desk all the time, then take charge of that and make sure that you are doing things to strengthen your back, that you are doing stretches, that how you are seated in your seat, that these are all things that you have control over. And, yes, your workplace can advise you of stuff, whatever, but they can't force you to do it. That's something that you need to take control over and take responsibility for, because we all have a say. You all have a say in how the quality of your life can be. We make choices of what food we put into our mouths. We make choices in how we move. We make choices in, the things that we do. You have all those choices, and, you may have a sitting down job, but you have a choice to make sure that you strengthen your back, so you sit up straighter, that we do some stretches, so, that you are sitting right in your seat. You have that choice. You also have a choice in how you feel your body and how that makes you feel. And this all leads to the quality of life that you want to lead. And for me, exercise is a really, really important aspect of it. There is always a form of exercise that you can do that will work for you and that works for your body. And movement is always, always going to benefit you. And I just had somebody start last week in the gym, and they were so, they had been saying to me for a long time that they didn't want to do classes because they didn't like the gym and they didn't like weights. And then they did a class and they said, oh, it was totally different to what I thought. And, but this person had to get to a point where they, really realized that they needed to do something about it, before she took that step forward. And then the fear of starting, the fear of feeling, that they were unfit, or that they wouldn't be able to do what they would be singled out in the classroom, knew that none of that stuff happened. And she realized that it was actually quite fun, and it wasn't exactly what she thought. So sometimes we put these ideas in our head of thinking of something that we can't do, but you can actually do it. And for me, my big motivator, as you probably keep hearing me say all the time, my big motivator is I want to lead a good quality life. I want to be able to get up and down off a seat well. I don't need to win a marathon. I don't need to, win a bodybuilding competition. None of those things. None of that stuff interests me. But what interests me is getting up and down, moving well, being able to lead a good quality life, feeling strong, having lots of energy, and feeling good. That's what's the most important to me. And, and this is the things that you can take charge of. I am so lucky to have my gran living near us, and she is now 87, and it's really interesting to watch how her body has changed. She did in December last year, she had a fall, and when she fell, she obviously lost a lot of her confidence, and it really shot her confidence down. And from then on, she's been quite scared to move. and do different things. And for me, I watch her and I think this is why I want to be as strong as I can, because, you know, she fell twice in the same week. Within a week of each other, so she fell forward, and then she fell backwards, and it really she obviously hurt herself, and you know, but it really shot her confidence, and then she was scared to walk, and she was scared, you know. So, and these are the things that if you know, if you're younger, you may not think about now if you don't have an elderly person around you. But you know, like I watch her and I think, you know, and it's so, and she says herself she can't believe how much she has changed because of lack of movement, because she, you know, hasn't moved as much because she is scared. She was, you know, she's getting a lot better than what she was when she first fell. But she was, you know, she's actually really good now. But you know, she's still very tentative in her moves and those things. And that's why, you know, I have a specific class that is all about mobility and moving and staying strong and being able to do the basic movements, you know, getting up and down off the ground, all of those things. But all of these things are things that you can take charge of. And that is my main message I want to get to you today. Take charge of your health. You know, people say, oh, another big thing that I hear all the time is about menopause. Now, I am not in menopause, but I am heading towards that way. I have seen changes in my hormones, and I have been tested, and I am in the early stages of this stuff happening. But this is something that you can take charge of. There's really little research done for women in going through menopause, and especially women exercising through menopause. But, you know, there is more and more research coming out. A lot of it is talking about how important weight training is for your muscles, and especially with the declining estrogen levels. There is lots of things about, you know, there's myths that we were told. I don't know, it depends on what you may have heard from your mom or your grandmother, or even the women around you. You hear them talk about how menopause, how horrible it is, and you know, that it's you know, it's out of your control. Well, there are things that you can control with this, and this is where I really want you to take charge. So take charge and start looking at your food. If you're awake at certain times of the night, that's part of your digestion. So look at what you're eating. Maybe look at reducing red meat and see if it makes a difference to your body and how you sleep. I had this happen to one of my members, and she was only eating fish at night, and her hot sweats had went away, because there is research that proves that. And this one of my members had the same thing. She was having hot sweats. She looked at her food and she changed her. She went to fish, and she actually had fish at night, and the hot sweats have pretty much gone away since she's made those dietary changes. So, but these are things that you control. So don't accept what you hear. Don't accept that this is how we should be. That say menopause, for example, has to be horrible, or that after we have babies, you know, we don't have a core. You do have a core, and you can strengthen your core. I am stronger now than what I was when I was 20, and I've had 2 children, you know, so it is all possible, but it's because I did the work. And yes, it is hard to get started. Yes, it is not always the funnest thing to do, but the benefits of it outweigh so much not doing it. It is just so worth to do. Going back onto menopause, you know, also think about, do you just, before you've done, you know, I had someone else, we were talking this morning, they were saying that, you know, they'd been told to take this drug for menopause, blah, blah, and I just said, have you looked at your food? Have you thought about how, you know, you exercise? Have you thought to change how you exercise? You know, and she hadn't. And, you know, like, so there are things that you could look at and tweaks that you could make to your diet that maybe aren't crazy, you know, or really hard to do, but they could be small tweaks, like changing the order of your food, making sure we eat fiber first, then your protein, your fats, and then having your carbohydrates last. It could be adding apple cider vinegar to your water. It could be taking a small walk after. So make sure that you get make sure that you get that more movement, that more daily movement, and you can look at things from a different perspective, and you can actually take charge. You don't have to accept that, well, I'm going into menopause and this is going to be horrible. My mum said it was horrible for her, and that's the way it's going to be for me. It doesn't have to be. There is lots of new research that is around now that wasn't out when your mum was going through it. So there's lots of new things coming out, and it is a very under-researched area, but there is a lot more info out there now than what it has ever been, and it is something that you can take charge of. And even if it isn't, you will definitely, if you make changes with your food and your lifestyle, you can definitely alter the symptoms or alter the severity of the symptoms. And I feel that with everybody. If you have this piece of information like that, like let's say you have health risks from your family. So let's say, well, if I look at my family, my father has had two or three heart attacks, so I know that he had them quite young. His first one, he was quite young when he had that. So I know that there is a risk, there is a hereditary risk of things already from there. So because I know this, I want to make sure that I am, my heart is in the best health possible. So you already have this little piece of information. There is, like in my family, there is, on both sides, there is Alzheimer's and dementia, so again, there's things that I can do. Research has shown that if you are a long-term meditator, so a long-term meditator is anyone more than 5 years, it has shown that there has been a decrease of the levels of getting Alzheimer's or dementia. So that is something that I can take charge of. I can look at reducing the risk factors. I can look at reducing the risk factors of the things that I've already got this little piece of information from. Another lady that I was speaking to this morning, she knows that she, I can't think of the word on the spot now, but there's something that it could possibly turn into osteoporosis. So she has this little piece of information that she already knows now, so she can do something about it. So you can make a choice in if you take charge or if you don't take charge. You can make a choice in to say, I have this little piece of information that I'm already maybe could likely get osteoporosis when I'm a little bit older. So I'm going to really make sure I strengthen my bones. I do weight training for my muscles to support the bones. So then you're giving yourself, if you do get this, you're giving yourself the best outcome, the best possible chances. And these are in the realms of things that you can control. So this is what I want you to start taking charge of. You might have family, you might have, let's say you had gestational diabetes when you're pregnant. So research shows that people that have gestational diabetes when they are pregnant are more likely to that they could possibly get diabetes too. So for the same thing, you could take charge of that and make sure you are being really you are understanding your food and understanding how you're fueling your body. Especially if you had to do it through pregnancy, you can do it after. So again, if you have so if you have this information that you have this, you can take charge of it. It may not have occurred yet, but if it does occur, then you've given yourself the best possible outcome on how to deal with it if it did happen. And this is really what I want you to take charge of. Don't accept that, oh, well, I can't exercise because it's too hard, or I don't have enough time, or I'm too tired. Well, actually, if you exercise more, you would have more energy and you would feel better. You would feel better than what you're feeling now. Don't accept those things, because that doesn't have to be how it is. If you want to have a physique that looks a certain way, well, then a certain amount of effort needs to be put in, and you need to take charge of that. It is all possible, but work does need to be done. And these are the things that I just really want you to think about and to start taking charge, because it's possible. And if we accept, if you have niggles in your back, if you have a little niggle now What is it going to be like in 5 years' time? What is it going to be like in 10 years' time? Take charge of it and start stretching more, start strengthening your back, start strengthening your core to support it. You know, all of these things is only going to help you. It's not going to make it worse if you make sure you do the right training and you obviously train through someone that's qualified in that area. So, you know, so just take charge of this stuff and make sure that you are moving forward, and that you are not accepting that, oh, well, I have a bad back, so I can't do anything. No. And, you know, in my classes, I say to people all the time, there is always an exercise that will work for you. There is always something that we can do that will work within the parameters that you have. And it is all possible. And it's up to you to take charge and just take that first step forward and keep moving forward, because you won't regret it. You won't regret it. And it's just taking that one little step forward, and just start making a change. And I have so many people that have started in classes, they feel so scared, they felt nervous, which I understand, and all that, and they say, oh my God, I never thought I would enjoy exercise. I never thought I would miss it. So all of this stuff is possible for you, but you just need to take charge. You know, we've just started doing a men's class, and it is so amazing to see how much they've improved and how they're really, they are really, really progressing. And these are guys that haven't really done much weight training before. And, you know, again, but these guys, they're amazing. They've started to take charge of their health, and they're taking charge and they're making step forward. Because the thing as well is, this is why I love weight training so much, and why everybody should put it into part of their life, is because after the age of 30, if you are not actively working on your muscle, you start to lose it. You know, we start to lose it. And again, this is something that you can control. And so you need doing some form of weight training, making sure you're prioritizing protein to maintain your muscle mass is so important. But they are things that you can control. And then when you look at, especially, you know, I was talking about my gran before, and if you have an elderly person in your family, you know, when we look at if you have somebody that's older, you know, like, then their muscle has, you know, if you don't move it or use it, their muscle has, you know, will deteriorate even more. But this is something that you can do your best job in. You can do your best job in making sure that, you know, you're giving yourself the best opportunity to age well and to have a great quality of life through your, you know, whatever age you are, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you know, 90s. It's all possible, and it's all up to you. And that is what I'm fighting for. I'm going to make sure that I have the best quality life when I get to those age, because I'm taking charge of stuff. If I have a sore back or I have a niggle, I'm going to work out why. And then I just say, well, this is the universe trying to remind me that I need to work on this, you know, and then I'm going to work on it until I know it's strong. I'm not going to say, oh, I have a bad back, and just go and visit someone once a week, go visit a physio or something once a week, and then not do the exercises. You know, it takes daily. It takes some form of effort every day in order to do something. You know, I see, you know, like a couple of months ago, my husband was like, I can't get up and down off the ground. And that really annoys me. It annoys me that he says that, because it's up to him. He's saying that he's getting older and he can't get up and down. My husband is 10 years older than me. But, you know, that's something that can be changed, but that's a mindset thing as well. He thinks that he can't get up and down off the ground anymore, you know, and I'm like, well, God, if you're thinking that at this age, what are you going to be like in another 10 years time? But again, you can take charge of all this. So if you are feeling this way, just think about the words that you're saying to yourself and start taking charge. You do not have to accept that you can't do things, because we all started somewhere, but we all started, and we just slowly take one step in front of the other and keep moving forward. But take charge. Don't accept that you have pains and niggles, that is the way that your life is going to be. It doesn't have to be. It can be totally different. Don't accept that, you know, if you have menopausal symptoms, if you're having hot flushes, you know, again, don't accept that. You know, you can take charge and really look into it. And if it's really, really important to you, you will do it. If it's important enough, you will take that step, and you will keep working at it until you work it out, because I promise you, you will. So if you feel that this would help anybody, please make sure you share it to them, because I really want to spread the message that you are in control. You're in control of more things than you think you are, and you can take charge today and start making steps forward. Don't accept that your health has to be how it is. Don't accept pains and niggles. You have got total control. I will speak to you again very soon. Okay, bye. Thanks for listening to the Elliott's PT podcast. I hope you have been able to find this information of use to you. If you know someone who might enjoy this podcast, please share it with them and ensure that you subscribe so you can be the first to know when new podcasts are released. If you have the time to leave a 5-star review, that would be amazing and it would be greatly appreciated. If you do so, please screenshot and share onto any of our socials and tag us. Then email the screenshot to hello@elliotspt.com and we will send you a free gift to your inbox. Thanks so much. Have an amazing day. Speak soon.